let's do a dry snow globe. Hey y'all, APG Jamie here. And today we're going to do a dry snow globe. Well, I'm going to do two of them, but you're really only going to see one. Okay? So I've got a lot of this stuff, probably all of it, maybe, I don't know, came from the Dollar Tree at various times throughout a few years. I've got these white trees, and I had just picked these up. So I thought, well, let's put little glitters on them because I wanted to do a silvery type one and a gold type one, okay? But they're not exactly the same, but they go together the same. So I put out some of my original tacky glue, Aleene's tacky glue that is, on, a palette. Dipped the bottle brush tree in there so that it got little glue globs right on the little ends of the branches, or most of the branches, or some of the branches even. And I'm going over that with gold glitter. I know this was a messy project as far as glitter goes. Okay? I have glitter. I don't use it real often. I'm not a real big fan. It just continuously comes off, gets in your eyes and your mouth, on your clothes and your carpet, in the little cracks of your little wooden floors. But it's so sparkly. Okay, so here we are, a slightly different view of where I'm dipping the bottle brush into the glue. Now, Tim Holtz will also do alcohol inks with the bottle brush trees like this. It's not his trees, but these are Dollar Tree. Anyway, and that's probably where the glitter came from too, to tell you the truth. It's definitely where the snow globes came from. Okay. So yeah, and I'm just sprinkling around glitter. I'm using a little bead tray or an embossing tray. I don't know what kind of tray. It's a plastic tray, y'all. And I save the glitter. I don't throw it away. I save it, and this is glitter I will probably have forever. So I've got, one taller tree, one shorter tree, and for the gold one, we're going to do this here deer. It's not a reindeer. It's like a Texas deer, white-tailed deer, and they got these big old giant horns. They do drop their horns, I believe, once a year. And they get them back just in time for rutting, which is mating season, I suppose. And that's usually around, I believe it is the first weekend in November, typically speaking. I know too much about hunting season, y'all. Anyway. I'm using a xryon to turn these two gold die cut deer back to back. So we got gold on each side, and it was tried to show you that I cut one from the back side and one from the front side, and that gives you, exact replicas of each other. And most of the video, I believe all of the video, has been sped up, y'all. Portions have been more sped up than others, hyperspeed even. So now I'm going to stick one deer side to the other deer side. I thought I had a 3D plastic deer, but I couldn't find it. I may have already done something with it, or I just couldn't find it. You know how your collections can be sometimes. So I'm lifted them off the release paper, and I've torn the release paper to kind of keep that part from sticking to where I don't want it to stick to, and I'm just going to use a little pokey tool to more or less line up the legs, because I don't necessarily want any white showing, but it does, and that's okay. Well, it's not so much in the snow globe, because it's kind of hard to see, and round things are so reflective. Well, it's plastic, it's not glass for one thing, and they could be very reflective, showing all kinds of stuff. So anyways, here's the snow globe number one. And I'm just going to pull that little sticker off. Yes, I could have taken that part out of the video, but why? All right, I want to say these little stopper doolallers fit in there very well, okay? And the video sped up, so it took a minute to get it out, and it has nice little lovely clear instructions. It doesn't have pictures, but it's instructions. And what they didn't mention in the instructions is they didn't tell you to use distilled water. Let me just tell you to use distilled water if you're going to make, a wet snow globe, okay? Otherwise, your water could grow green gobblygoops of guts in there. You don't want that. So I'm going to be using hot glue for this part. Well, I did use hot glue for this. And now I'm trying to make a textured surface as if you would be able to tell, because in the end, you really can't. And I'm just applying hot glue around, and it's going to set up. It doesn't dry because it's not wet. It is melted and it re-solidifies. Okay. Good. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't have any around the edge that will slide back into the plastic bubble jar. And here I'm getting out the trees, shaking off excess glitter. Didn't matter, it still falls off. It's glitter. So anyway, and decided I needed to cut this one down. I should have cut it down another 1/4 of an inch because it ends up being too tall and it kind of bows over and around. And it's okay. It's okay, y'all. I don't be flipped out about it. Anyway, now we're going to put that in there. I'm trying to measure it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to be a little tall. But I still thought it would be okay. So, more of the hot glue. Making a little pile of hot glue. We're going to stick our tree in there. Now, I've taken the base off. One of them, I was messing with the tree and it came loose. And the other one, you saw I had to cut it loose. And the shorter tree, I'm going to shorten even more. I'm like, it's going to be pretty close. Y'all, stick it in there. Yeah, and see, when you squish it all up in there, like you should, it's needed to be a 1/4 inch shorter. So now we're going to put this on this side of the deer. It didn't matter, y'all. It's just, I was just trying to make it look scening, like a scene even. Scening. Real words. And we trimmed it off. Going to put another glob pile of hot glue right there. And using the tweezers to help me position the trees into place. I think I'm not sure if I used the tweezers on the deer itself. And yes, the deer does stick out over the base, but remember, it's a round bubble jar, so it will have room. Now I thought I was going to be clever and glue on some snow onto the base, which was a good thought. But there's another step I'm going to do that I wished I'd have waited to do this part. But live and learn. Will I ever make a snow globe again? I don't know. I don't know if I'd make a wet one, and I don't know if I'd make a dry one. But I will say that stopper, the plastic part there that we're working on top of right here, it does go in there pretty stinking good. Now the instructions for a wet one tell you to put glue around there and then stick it inside your wet bubble ball. And I would like to suggest that you put Vaseline around there, because Vaseline does help water to not smoosh out of little tiny places. Anyway, I know it doesn't make any sense. Putting on the snow onto our little plastic base there. I've had this little bag of snow for quite some time. You could think of it as glitter, except it's like shaved plastic bits, and it does have some little shiny bits in there too. And I'd originally thought, well, I'll just drop a little, glitter in there too, but I didn't. Just as well, because, glitter. Y'all, I cleaned up 2 or 3 times during this video, and there is still glitter out there. So I originally knew from the beginning I wanted to put some of these little mini lights in there. Tiny lights, I think that's what they're called. There's a list of ingredients in the description below the video. Click on that word that says more ... and it will reveal to you the full description box. So, pokey tool, poke the hole through there. And you don't want to do this if you're doing a wet one. Don't do this. And I wouldn't put paper in there anyway, but whatever. Y'all smart. Y'all know how to do it. So making my hole a little bit bigger, and I'll start putting my lights in there, and I'm like, I've had this one for a while. I better make sure it works. It's like when you're putting lights on your Christmas tree, you want to plug them in, make sure they work before you go around and around and around and around and around some more. And this is where I turn them on, and I'm like, are they on? It's so bright in here. I don't know. I couldn't tell. I'm like, is it on? Is it on? And yeah, it was on, but it was extremely dim, which means it needs new batteries. So I pulled that one out, and we're going to poke in the other one that I have that did come on. See? It's on. Let's turn it off. Save our precious little batteries. These do have replaceable batteries in them, so great job with that, Timmy. And they are made so that you can trim them off to a shorter length. But I don't know. I just had an issue with cutting them off, so I didn't. I used the whole string. Would it have looked different? Well, it would have looked different. Would it have looked better with less lights? I don't know. I like a lot of lights. What can I say? So anyway, I'm trying to gently pull it up through the plastic, and we will adhere all that down. I'm going to get a piece of double-sided tape, and it does not temporarily hold it at all, so I will use Velcro later on. And yes, you will get to see that part, because I love you in junk like that. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with my little projects. I'm glad I did them. And I let it, I did let it dry overnight after I put on the first pile of the snow on the plastic part there, the cork. It's cork. I don't know, it's a seal. It's a seal. So anyways, I'm just wrapping it around. I'm trying to tuck it in here and there and around the deer legs, and then one of them, I think there at the end, I take it up around the tree and wrap it around the tree. I'm like, can I see it? How's it look? Yeah, it looks okay. And I seriously thought about cutting it off, but I don't know, y'all. It just seems, I know you're supposed to be able to cut it off and it's fine, and the lights work. I wasn't concerned with that. I just had an issue with cutting off the lights I'd already paid for. Well, in this case, they were sent to me by my secret internet admirer. Oh, thank you, darling. So anyway, I didn't cut any off. I know I've already said that, but long story made even longer. So there we go. I'm like, yeah, looks good. Okay. Glitter. Glitter goes everywhere. And okay, I'm still thinking, all right, I'm liking it. I'm like, yeah, glitter. It's on my clothes, on my floor, on my desk. Glitter. So here comes some more original tacky glue. We're going to now apply this on top of the light string so that I can kind of bury that sort of beneath the snow, sort of. Okay. I'm not being too overly careful with the glue. I'm just trying to get it smooshed up in there on top of some of that wire so you don't necessarily see the wire so much. And you technically, theoretically, you don't really even notice it, because it's pretty tiny. Tiny lights was a pretty good word for it. So here we go. Now we're going to apply some more glue, and this one I ended up letting dry over weekend because by now it's Friday, and I got things to do for the weekend, y'all. We got people to piss off, and I should cut that out. I'm not gonna, but it's, you know, was probably true. I'm pretty good at that. Anyway, so I have this gold ribbon, little round. It looks like little flat back pearl ribbon, but it's gold. And I thought, well, we're going to put this around the lid, because it theoretically it's the lid to the little bubble jar. And using glossy accents. So we're wrapping that around there, and we're going to put some Allie Mays on it to help hold it in place. And this really won't be handled overly much, so I'm not too worried about it coming off, although it might eventually. I mean, it's plastic to plastic, so I don't know. And I'm going to trim it up just a little bit more as we get there. And that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. And like I said, I ended up letting them dry, because by this time I've already done the other one as well. Exactly the same way, different decor. Okay, inside the snow globe is different decor. So we're just going to set that aside. And it, like I said, it's more of a silvery. So now we're back, and we're going to take all our Allie Mays off. They can go back to the Clampett household. And, okay. So everything's pretty snugged up. And I thought, well, I want to put a little loose snow in there, because, you know, otherwise you can't shake it up, can you? And I put too much. It doesn't look like I'm putting much in there. And it's technically not much. But, you know, here we go. Tucking it in, working the tree, around the deer's head and the horns. Going to go ahead and push that down in there. And I'm like, oh, my tree is bending. Dadgummit. Okay, now we got a bowed tree. Just pretend a hurricane came through and kind of bowed the tree out. Because that happens in real life. I know, because my peach tree got bowed out from that last one that came through here. Anywho, I'm going to pull it back off. I'm telling you, I think it would be pretty okay good for wet. You know, like it's supposed to be. So I'm dumping out some of that extra snow, because we don't need it. Made it way too deep. It was too blizzardy in there, y'all. So I'm trying to bend the tree. Maybe it won't bow, but it bows anyway. And I'm like, well, that's all right. I'll get past it. It'd be all right. Save that snow. I have many years left in me. Hopefully, cross fingers, jump down, go to town boogie. And now we're going to put some Velcro dots. And these may or may not be the actual brand name Velcro. But they're the, you know, they're that kind of dots. And they're cut in half. So, just because that's typically as big a piece as I need for that. I think that makes them really tiny ones, about the size of your little tiny fingernail, a little pinky fingernail maybe. These are more like a thumb. Anyway, we're going to stick that in there. And I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, now I got to turn them on, because I had them off. Oh, I'm like, turn the light on. Girl, turn the light on. So there we go. Some of the beads, well, the little ribbon trim around the lid there gets a little folded up. Oh, we got a different view, y'all. I know. It's like, oh, look at this view. I don't know. It's kind of weird. My left hand just kind of stays in the way, and I'm trying to not have it in the way and in the way. So there we go, tapping it around. And it's a little staticky. It's all plastic now, y'all. I'm like, oh, just a minute. I got a topper. I want to put a snow angel on top. Now, I've had these snow angels for a long time, and they came from the ornament section, you know, where they sell packages of tiny ornaments to go on the little tiny trees. That's where these came from. And I've had them for a long time. I've used some before, but not used all of them. And then the second one's going to get a metal snowman bell. And I'm not sure where I picked those up at, y'all. I don't know. So it's going to go on that one. And because it's metal, I'm going to have to tape it up to hold it there till it dries. Okay? And I'll let it dry a couple of days because by that time the weekend was over, my back was froze over too. My back was over. So here we go, flip-flop flex section, y'all. I know. I'm like, well, let's just film it sideways and see what we get. So it stays blurry. I get close and work it out. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's okay. I'm trying to turn it. And, yeah. Okay. That's the gold one. I'm happy with how the little trees came out. I don't even know what made me think of that. It was just a spur of the moment thought. And I'm like, well, let's just put some glitter on them trees. Anyway, glitter's everywhere, y'all. This one gets a toy sled. It's not a toy sled. It was a Christmas ornament sled. Small. And trying to make it focus. And it's just not. Doesn't want to focus because it's clear, but it's not clear. It's shiny, but the whole thing's not shiny. So, there we go. Gold and silver. Ta-da! Photo montage. And I did turn the lights out in the studio, and it was ambient light coming in from the windows because, it's daytime. And our little snow angel's very blurry, but that's okay. She's a totes adorbs. And here's our little sled and little picket fence from the Dollar Tree, of course, as well. And our little snowman. Like I said, I don't know where I got the snowman from. In real life, he's not so blurry. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.